Hi there friends, if you're new to my channel, my name's Nicole, and today I'm going to be talking to you about my top 10 favorite movies that are set at Christmas but are not traditional Christmas movies. So basically what I mean about that is any kind of film that covers the Christmas period but that doesn't revolve around Christmas itself. So excluding things like, you know, It's a Wonderful Life, the Santa Claus movies, things like that that really are about Christmas. I have my notes here, so I'm going to go ahead and get right into it. My favorite one is You've Got Mail, which takes place over a span of time and Christmas is a part of it, but it makes it one of my favorite films to watch at Christmas time because it gets you kind of into a Christmassy mood without actually being a Christmas film. And now I love You've Got Mail. I grew up watching it. I love Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. I just think it is one of my favorite movies of all time, probably, maybe my actual favorite movie, and I have so many good memories of watching it with my mom. I also have a super soft spot for You've Got Mail because it's based on the same old movie that the musical She Loves Me is based on, and I just really find, you know, it's got like a Pride and Prejudice type vibe to it, even they talk about Pride and Prejudice in it, with this couple who really dislike each other at first and then they come to realize that maybe they don't actually dislike each other at all. The next one is a bit of a throwback. It is the Samantha American Girl movie. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, American Girl dolls were one of my favorite things growing up, and they had movies based on some of the characters of the dolls, and one of my favorites is the Samantha movie. Samantha is played, I believe, by a very young Anna Sophia Robb, beautifully. It's actually like a really beautiful movie overall, but it's one of those movies that ends at Christmas time, which I really like whenever you end on that festive note. The next one, some people might argue is too much of a Christmas film to even include in this, but it's The Holiday. Now, of course, The Holiday is the movie with Jude Law, Cameron Diaz, Kate Winslet, and Jack Black, which I love. It's so fun. My friend Jen and I always joke that I'm just like Kate Winslet's character and she is like Cameron Diaz's character. But I like it because, well, it's set around Christmas and the basic idea is that these two women swap houses for the Christmas period. It's not like the plot lines in it are very independent of Christmas. So they're kind of more about these women and relationships and finding their way in careers and stuff. And I really love The Holiday. Like, if you've not seen it, you definitely need to watch it. Number 4, I actually also talked about my favorite Christmas musicals, and it is Meet Me in St. Louis with Judy Garland. It's an older film, I believe from like the 40s. It is beautiful and it covers the span of a whole year in a family's life. It's a family kind of at the turn of the century with, I'm trying to think, 4 daughters, I think. And it's just a really lovely film. It's got my favorite Christmas song of all time in it, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, performed beautifully by Judy Garland in one of the most emotional scenes I've ever seen in a Christmas film. But it does have a beautiful like Christmas section to the movie, but overall it's like not about Christmas. My 5th, somewhat similarly, is Little Women. I'm talking about specifically the 1994 version with Winona Ryder and Kirsten Dunst. I love this movie. I grew up watching it. I've read Little Women several times. I'm a big fan of it, but I really like the Christmas section of this movie. Of course, it is a bit of a sad film to be watching at Christmas time. I have so much nostalgia for this film from watching it whenever I was younger, and it also is set in like mid-19th century America, which I think is kind of a nostalgic thing around Christmas, but I definitely want to rewatch this one this Christmas. Number 6 is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, or the Philosopher's Stone, whatever you want to call it. And obviously there's a really touching Christmas part of this movie, but I also think that I just associate all of the Harry Potter movies with Christmas time because ABC Family would always have Harry Potter weekends in December, so I just kind of associate the two things in my mind together. But Harry Potter is also such a good film whenever you're like hanging out with your family to throw on the television because everyone can watch it and enjoy it. Now, number 7 is actually Frozen, which came out around Christmas time. I think it was end of November 2013. And so I think that's kind of why I associate it with Christmas in my mind, is because I saw it in December of that month. But Frozen is actually one of my favorite Disney films ever. I love the character Anna to pieces. Prince Hans is by far my favorite Disney villain. Only competition is Mother Gothel. And I love Frozen. I think it's a really good family film. It's set in the winter time, so I think that makes it a really nice Christmassy time film. I also think it's really nice if you're hanging out with your family, maybe to have it on and watch. Like, I know I would love to watch it with my young cousins who are really into it. So I think Frozen's a great film to watch at Christmas time. Number 8 is also veering a little bit towards a actual holiday movie, but it is Uja Noel, which is a movie about the Christmas truce that happened, I believe, in 1914 during World War I. It's a really interesting film because it does have subtitles, but it's kind of done in English, French, and German. I really want to rewatch it now that I've started taking German so I would understand a bit of all 3 languages, but it's kind of about how the English, the French, and the German troops on the front lines came together, decided to have a truce over Christmas, and like played ball games and exchanged chocolates and different things. And I think it's a really beautiful film about how the Christmas spirit can bring people together, but also just a beautiful film about World War I. So that's why I'm including it in this, because it's definitely not your traditional Christmas movie. Number 9 is the John Cusack, Kate Beckinsale film, Serendipity. I grew up watching this every so often and I really enjoy it. It begins at Christmas time in New York City and then later follows up, like, I think it's 10 years later. But it's very much a rom-com about 2 people and not about Christmas. It just happens to take place over Christmas. But I really recommend that you check it out. I think it's such a good rom-com, so typical of rom-coms from that era, back whenever I feel like they were maybe a bit better. And also, like, I love John Cusack. I love John Cusack to bits. I grew up hearing his voice as Dimitri, and I think that's why I still have such a fondness for him. The last film on my list, and number 10, is the 1997 TV movie Borrowed Hearts, which again is kind of, I guess, veering towards being an actual Christmas movie, but Christmas kind of feels more like the setting for it. The basic plotline is that this businessman, has I can't remember if he's like an investor for the company, basically someone important for his business, coming to stay with him, and he's kind of told him that he's a family man and he's not. So he essentially like rents a family for Christmas, and it's this single mom and her daughter, and the guy coming to visit is played by Hector Elizondo, who you probably know from The Princess Diaries. He plays Joe. And I absolutely love it. It's such a fun one. It's such a good family film. Makes you feel good. And it's very much like a Christmassy rom-com, or like a rom-com set at Christmas, which are some of my favorite types of movies. I hope that you enjoyed this. Please let me know in the comments down below if you have any suggestions for kind of movies that are set at Christmas but aren't about Christmas, or, you know, Christmas movies that have more of a plotline that revolves outside of Christmas, because I really enjoy watching those in the festive season, because sometimes I can get a little bit sick of just watching Elf and White Christmas over and over and over. So I would love to hear all of your suggestions. As always, thank you so much for watching. You can find links to my social media and to all of my blogs down below. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, because that really does help me out and make me super happy. And to subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content coming your way every day of December up until Christmas. Bye!